Welcome back in, everybody, to the Chris Mathis podcast, a very special edition. It's Talk to Him Tuesday with my friend, digital creator Cory Crouch. Before we get into that, big time shout out to my sponsor, of course, Information on Demand, pre-employment screening services, offering fast, accurate, and affordable background screening services, whether you need criminal background checks, drug screenings, E-Verify, academic accreditations, or other screening services. They've got you covered. You can rest easy knowing a highly trained search team will get you the information you need in 8 hours or less. That's right, just 8 hours or less. Information on demand, fast, accurate, and affordable pre-employment background screenings. Give them a call today at 855-914-4636 and check them out on informationondemand.net. That's informationondemand.net, bringing you the Talk to Him Tuesday edition of the Chris Mathis podcast with my guest, digital creator Cory Crouch. And with that, we bring on Cory right here on the Chris Mathis podcast. Awesome to have you on, Cory, and appreciate your time here this evening as we talk about your career and all the fun and interesting, impressive work that you do with your digital creations and artwork, GIFs, YouTube videos, whole 9 yards.
Yes, sir. It's an honor to be here on the podcast with you, Chris, and it's hopefully we can take this far and in our journey to keep on going, man. And I can see in the background you have the poster as well, man. I like it.
Absolutely. So for those of you that have kept up with the Chris Mathis podcast, you guys can see each and every week we have this awesome photo that shows up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube as the cover art for each individual episode. And this guy right here is the exclusive creator for the Chris Mathis podcast, TCM Pod. But more importantly, he's an artist of all kinds. And I'll be honest with you, his artwork that he does for the podcast is tremendous, but it's not even his forte. His forte is digital art creations and some really cool stuff. You need to check out his stuff on Instagram, cc.creations with a Z on Instagram. And Cory, of course, glad to have you here with us. But I know you've had a long journey with your art career, and you've improved with each and every post. I mean, from years ago to when I first saw you start off your career to right now, your improvement and growth has been exponential over time. Talk about, this career for you, this journey for you here, with you being just 23 years old, very good at what you do, and obviously you want to continue to improve.
Yes. Man, yeah, I've came a long way from where I started to where I'm at now. So I've learned a lot throughout my years, and I'm 23 now, as you said. And I've started when I was 13 years old, and now I've came to the point where I'm like learning all the stuff that I really didn't learn in the past years. So it's really interesting for me to know what I haven't learned in the past, and now I'm here. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously you know a lot about each and every program that you use, and some people kind of delve in a little bit with each program. I want to know a little bit about this program, a little bit about that. But from what the work I've seen of yours and your video, your speed art clips, it looks like you know a lot about every program that you deal with. And it seems like you're truly a student of the game and of the craft of being an artist.
Right. Yeah. I work a lot more into Photoshop and 3D designing. My work is mainly for designing in 3D. I'm trying to work in Photoshop more often just to get better with it. I'm trying to do more into animation and just a lot of loops and whatnot, just to maybe get myself out there for like artists for loops and whatnot. So hopefully soon I can work with like a big artist like Skrillex or somebody that's good with beats and instrumental and stuff. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously you have a lot of social media. You're on Instagram. You're on YouTube. Yeah. You also have an art print and merchandise website. You've got an art page website. If you would, plug a couple of your accounts that people can check out right quick off the top of your head. I know Instagram, cc.creations with a Z.
Yes. So I got Instagram. You can follow me, cc.creations with a Z. I got a website, which is thekingcreations.com. You can find me there. I also have a YouTube channel, CC Creations with a Z at the end as well. And that's pretty much it that I have for all my social medias.
I'll make sure to attach those in the description below if everybody wants to check out his page and all of his awesome work. But Cory, every kid, let's flash back. You said you started at the age of 15, 8 years ago. Every kid at some point picks up a pen or a marker and colors, and every kid finds some joy in it. But after a certain age, it seems like that creativeness, that creative style, that mental freedom kind of dissipates with children these days. And the artwork kind of just is a thing of the past. Like even with me, I'd like to think I was a subpar artist as a kid, and then I just kind of quit. So talk about what art means to you and your passion that has come a long ways and come along with your artwork over the years.
Right. Art to me is a lot of fundamental practice for me. Art is just if you want to become an artist, you just gotta really practice, and it'll just come to you. And I've done that for many years, and it helped me throughout my my journey throughout the art process of how to become a good artist. But I'm not officially there, but hopefully soon I can become better and practice as I go on, and so forth. But it's good.
Yeah, you talk about wanting to continue to get better and obviously learn more because, as I said earlier, you're a student of your craft and you want to continue to improve. And if somebody goes to your Instagram page and scrolls from the very bottom to right now, there's a huge improvement. And I'll show you guys his first ever art piece that he posted to his Instagram page and then compare it to his top 3 pieces of all time here momentarily. But Cory, I know that you've done a lot of art pieces over the years. I mean, hundreds in just 2021 alone. You've done several right now, a week and a half into 2022.
Right.
What memory do you have of it being your first ever art piece? Was there a moment in time in which you thought, or that you can recollect and think, okay, that's the first time I ever gained interest in art?
For my first art piece to where I'm at now.
Yeah, like, so let's say whenever you were a kid and you kind of look back on your childhood, when was the first time in which you realized that art was a part of your life and you were very interested in it?
Man, it's I don't know. It's a hard question. When I was, I think it was about 2018. I did my first art piece. That was I wasn't too happy with it, and so I think I recreated that art piece, and I just went from there, man. I don't know.
Yeah, so since then you've obviously continuously got better and tried to elaborate more on your artwork and tried to expand what you're able to work on. As I said earlier, you even make GIFs. You do video work showing off the process of you creating each art piece. But it's just really cool to see your progression over the years. And with that, I'm going to plug your first ever post to your Instagram page right here. And so this is my point of view. This is my perspective, the non-artist that checks out this piece. So for me, I look at this and I see an astronaut being chased by a gorilla, on the city street. And then in the background, if I'm not mistaken, I see space and I see a fire in the background too. So what's your perspective and what do you see in this piece, your first ever creation that you published to your Instagram page?
Well, I like to work with a lot of sci-fi concept work, and this piece right here kind of motivated me to create a bunch of images and put it into one image. Like I didn't know how to do any of this stuff, so I kind of learned on YouTube on tutorials and whatnot. So this image kind of inspired me with King Kong and like different sci-fi movies like Interstellar, just different movies that are correlated with astronauts and whatnot. But this image is inspired me to just create art and whatnot.
Yeah, so looking back at that, that looks like it took a long time.
Yeah, I think it took about, this was like my first edit, and I posted it on my Instagram. I think it took about 3 to 4 hours, the most. So
Yeah. That was
yeah,
2019, I believe, when you first posted that post. Your
yeah,
first ever post to
yeah,
cc.creations on Instagram.
right.
So that's crazy for that to be your first ever true piece of artwork. I mean, it
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like somebody that's been in the game for years.
right.
When you look
Yeah,
at that picture and you look at what you're able to do now, what have you been most impressed with your progression over time?
with within like just Photoshop or like just whatever.
Man, I'll be honest. Uh, Whatever you use on a day-to-day basis. So in this photo right here,
Yeah.
and then you compare that to one of your most recent photos. When you compare them side by side, what are you most impressed with in terms of what you've gotten better at? Is it the process, cutting down the time? Is it your
It's
creative mind? Is it trying to come up with new ideas?
it's pretty much all of that you said. Pretty much just the lighting and the composition of where the placement of the photo is ideal for me to have become better with my photo manipulations that I do. But the picture that you see right here, it's very unique in a way where you can see both the ape and the astronaut. But comparing the image that you see here to the one that you would see now, you can see a difference from how I started here to where I'm at now. But yeah, I think lighting and the composition is my most prized possession in art.
You've done probably 500 posts since this one. When you look at this picture right here, again, your first ever post to your Instagram page, is there something that stands out to you right now that you would do differently this year, in terms of you being so much better at it?
With this photo,
With this particular picture, looking at this, would you say, hey, if I was to redo that, I would maybe do it differently in this way? Or, I mean, what stands out to you about the
yeah.
lighting? Are you perfect? Are you thinking this is perfect? Or
Not in my eyes, no. I was actually going to recreate this image, which I might do eventually. But yeah, the lighting is something that I'm working on. Especially the you can see the shadows on the buildings and the fire in the back. It's not really brightening up the ape as I should, and everything kind of looks dark in the image, which I can adjust if I was to recreate this image. But yeah, I think I can do a lot more better with this image now than I did before.
yeah, that's crazy because me looking at that, I'm thinking, man, I could never, ever
Yeah,
do anything like that. And for that to be your first ever one, that's insane.
right.
So here's a quick look. I know that you had plugged 3 of your favorite photos, and it was hard for you to pick 3 of your favorite because you've got, again, probably 500 different posts on your
Yeah,
Instagram alone. And then on top of that, other artwork that you did not post to your Instagram because it probably didn't reach your expectation or your standard of where you want your artwork to be. So here's one of your more recent photos, and this is one of your top 3 photos of all time, and you titled this Mars. Talk a little bit more
yes.
about this piece and what you enjoy about this piece and kind of the process and the thought process that you put into this one.
So this was made in Blender 3D, which is a open source software anybody can download for free. This was actually inspired by Interstellar, which is a astronaut movie. This piece right here, I love. It's probably one of my favorite pieces that I've did. I actually have a art print above me of this picture, but just the lighting and the composition, as I said before, just bring out, I think, most of the detail from this image, which looks more detailed and whatnot. But yeah, this image is just phenomenal to me, and I think a lot of other people like it as well.
Yeah. So when did you post this picture right here? Do you know about rough guess? Was this 2021, 2020, or?
Yeah, this was 2021. I don't remember the month I've posted it. Maybe if I was to guess, maybe 4 months ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. So this compared to your last photo, which
Yeah.
both are stellar, but as you said, this is interstellar, just like the movie.
So the first one that you showed, that was made in Photoshop. This one was made in Blender, which is the 3D software.
Okay. Yeah.
So everything that you see in this photo is pretty much modeled by me, and the textures and everything. Besides the astronaut, I've got that from a 3D or free 3D website, and a lot of people use a lot of 3D assets for their scenes and whatnot.
So obviously, you've made a lot of artwork over the years, I should say, 8 years in total. Do you just kind of sit down and ideas come to you, or is this a thing in which you're out in public, you're getting in a workout, you're hanging out with the family, and then an idea hits you? Or is it more or less of you just sit down and you just start, moving your cursor around and throwing things together? Because I'm impressed with the whole process. I can't imagine how much thought process goes into this.
Yeah, it's I take a lot of time out of my day, pretty much all day, every day. I just sit down and thought process for hours just to think of something to come up with, because usually it takes me about an hour to like 3 hours to make something if I have a good idea of what to make. And so this year I'm actually trying to bring down my time to about 30 minutes to a max, just to challenge myself out there, just to be more faster. But yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive. So that's your first, and in no particular order, that's one of your top 3 photos. As you mentioned, you have that out on a print. You printed it out. It's even in our logo that you designed of us. You're actually holding up behind us in the photo in the background. And here's the second photo, and this is called Domain, I believe. Dementi.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah,
I can't.
This right here is incredible, man.
Yes, I like the
glance, I see the lighting. I see the
Right.
reflection of the sky, the water, I believe, and then whatever's sitting right there in the middle.
the one on the rock.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are two cats, I believe.
that's
Two cats or
awesome.
two monkeys. So yeah, this image right here. I think this is my second favorite. Just the lighting in it and the composition of it, and just looks perfect to me. And yeah. So
How much work went into this? Was this a 2-hour job, a 4-hour job? Because this is really detailed from not just the lighting, but the reflection and then the shades of the color. And then, as you said, even the cats on the rock, running around, kidding, playing with each other and whatnot. How much time went into that piece?
that piece took about I believe an hour and a half. I tried to most of the art piece was mainly focusing on the rocks and the lighting. So I took that image and brought it into Blender, and then photoshopped it to make the lighting a little bit brighter and whatnot.
Again,
So,
talking with Cory Crouch here on the Chris Mathis podcast, Talk to Him Tuesday edition of the show. And we're going over his top 3 favorite pieces. Check out cc.creations with a Z on Instagram. And so that was Domain, your second favorite picture. Here's your third, called King Buzz,
King
which
Buzz.
everybody, no matter how old they are, looks at this and can automatically relate to it.
Yeah, everybody likes Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, it's
So- Yeah, talk a little bit more about this picture that you've created. And there's a lot going on. And
yeah.
obviously, with you being the creator, the genius behind the art piece, you probably see a little bit more than the average Joe would when they look at this picture.
Yes, so this image actually took me about 3 hours, and it was actually one of my hardest pieces that I've created in Photoshop. Everything that you see here is divided individually. So everything like the planets in the back, I've made those separately from every other image. You can see the rocket. I replaced his legs were actually straight, so I've manipulated those in a different form and stance. So, and the cutting out the images were pretty tedious as well. But the lighting in this one is, I think it looks good. I don't think I would change anything in this image if I had to.
So when you go to create a picture like this, an image like this, artwork like this, what's the most difficult aspect of the process? Is it number one, coming up with the idea? Is it number two, trying to get that centerpiece and then building off from that and trying to figure out what clicks? Or is it number three, more or less of the editing, having to adjust the brightness, the color schematics, things of that nature?
What's the hardest, you said? Just coming out?
Yeah, like what would be the hardest, I guess you could say, aspect of creating any piece of art? Is it coming up with that idea? Is it trying to work on the details and edit the bright lighting and the, I guess you could say, the tone of the colors, etc.?
The hardest, I got the images coming through my head, so I know what to create. But the hardest thing for me is just cutting out the images and then placing them in the right position, and then adding the right colors into the image to make it look perfect, and blending it in as well with the image. But yeah, cutting it out, making it look just right for everybody else to see, that it's not too photoshopped, but it blends in good to with the image. But yeah, cutting out, lighting, and the colors are probably the hardest for me.
Yeah, and so to give somebody an example of the tedious work that goes into this, I'm going to show them the video that you sent me of you creating our logo for this podcast. And again, this is one of the lesser detailed, intensified pieces of art compared to your, I want to call it 3D artwork, but still a long amount of, a lot of time went into this, and a crazy thought process, and then having to come up with, hey, how do you want to move this around? So I'm going to play this video, Cory, and if you will, which this video is cut short, so it's going to be sped up. But try to describe what you're doing as quickly as you can in terms of trying to keep up with the video. I mean, you could just be generic with it, but we're going to play this video right quick of Cory Crouch's creation of the thumbnail of the cover art for this Talk to Him Tuesday edition of the Chris Mathis podcast with Cory Crouch at cc.creations with a Z on Instagram.
All right, so here I'm just cutting out Chris's picture that it was really hard to cut out since it had a very bright background. But most of it was pretty easy because I knew the fundamentals of how to cut out a image and make it look just right. There was some, it's not really too hard because I know the majority of what to do in Photoshop. But as you can see here, you can see me going along the edges, just trying to make it look perfect. And mainly these photos, speed art photos that you see are pretty simple for me. They don't really take too much time. And the lighting and everything you can see in the background, just to make it make the images pop out more. And that's pretty much it. This video is kind of short to explain everything, but yeah, it's just cutting everything out is probably the hardest part of this piece, because the hair and the fuzz on my hat was the hardest part.
And also, I see that even in a picture like that, which you said is pretty easy to do, you still found a way to incorporate the lighting behind you and I to make sure that we look the part. Number one, we look good, and then number three, you've got color behind us, the red and blue, which is the theme you've created. for our podcast.
Right. Yeah. I used that to make us pop out a little bit more of the image. So yeah, I think color is probably the main source into photo manipulation to bring out your images a little bit more for a lot more detail.
That's crazy. So obviously you have to use several different programs, software programs, in order to do the different things that you do. Is that correct?
I just use Affinity Photo, which is Photoshop. It's only like $60. It's cheaper than Adobe Photoshop, which I think most people use. I prefer Affinity Photo over that because it's cheaper. You don't have to pay monthly for it. But that's pretty much the only app that I use is Photoshop, just for color correction and manipulation work and whatnot.
So Cory, I want to talk a little bit more about how you feel that you can continue to improve in order to get your name out there more. You say that you want to speed up how long it takes to get an edit done. Is that simply it in terms of, hey, I just want to speed up the entire process of creating, a piece of my art? Or is there more to it that, hey, I want to get a little bit better at this aspect of it, or hey, I want to learn this program? What would you say is your biggest challenge or goal for yourself here in 2022?
My biggest challenge is probably sculpting hard surfacing sculpting models. Hard surfing is like modeling cars, jets, motors for different vehicles and whatnot. So I think sculpting is probably my number one fear. So I'm trying to get better with that this upcoming year. So hopefully I can work more into sculpting and getting better, improving myself in the long run with my art and lighting and whatnot that my weak points are. So
when you say sculpting, is this an entirely different program that you would have to do this, or are you still doing the Affinity program?
Affinity Photo.
Yeah.
Affinity Photo is just photoshopping. The software that I would have to use is Blender, which is the free 3D software that anybody can download. There is a software called ZBrush, which everything you can do in there is pretty much just sculpting and nothing else. So hopefully I can get that program and start practicing more in sculpting, and possibly learn some tutorials here and there just to boost my confidence within the program.
So obviously several different types of art out there with the digital creator and digital creations and being a digital creator. Have we named and went over every single type of art that is a part of this? Obviously Photoshop, sculpting. There were a few more words that you threw out there too that
there's
that doesn't really edit like you. That doesn't have that talent, doesn't know about. Could you name off the ones that come to your head that are part of the digital creation world?
I mainly just work in Photoshop, 3D designing. There's 3D animation, matte capping. I can't really think of anything. There's a lot more, but I just don't really work in that area. I just mainly work in like sculpting, modeling, 3D assets, photoshopping, and that's pretty much it that I do. But I can't really think of on top of my head of all the names of different sources that are out there.
So where does GIF fall into play in terms of what type of digital art that is? Is that a part of Photoshop, or is that the manipulation that you were talking about?
What is it? The
GIF, like creating the little videos?
Oh yeah, that is a app you can download on your phone, which is called the Warbly app, and you can take a stilled image, which is an image that I created in Photoshop or whatnot, and then I can take that photo and put it into Warbly, and I can animate it on however I want.
Okay, so that's where you insert work that you have done, just a simple photo of whatever you'd like, and then you kind of toy with it and adjust things on that app that you're talking about.
Yeah, pretty much. So that first image that I created and posted on my Instagram, the astronaut and the ape, if I was to put, yeah, if I was to put that into the app itself, I can actually animate the fire and the asteroids coming down and the fur kind of breezing into the wind. I can you can be creative with it within the app itself, so you can animate pretty much anything in this photo if you wanted to.
That's pretty impressive. And you sent me one of those. This is a dinosaur one,
Yes.
which is pretty cool. So I'm going to play that right quick.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's crazy.
It's pretty cool. I've actually never used the app in that. I've actually seen some like ads on Instagram about it, so I had to download it and test it out myself to see how it turned out. It turned out pretty good. So
Yeah, no
I'm
doubt.
happy with it.
So is that a much simpler process than creating the actual photo? Is the
Yes.
process of turning it into an animation a lot quicker and more simple?
It depends on what app you're using. So like that app is pretty simple because it actually has simple tutorials that it'll teach you how to animate the picture. But if you were to like animate into like a 3D software like Blender, it's more complicated to understand because it's a software that many people don't use and aren't really familiar with it. But yeah, the Warbly app is a good app if you have like Photoshop images and you just want to create something really fast for like animation and whatnot.
Again, talking with Cory Crouch, digital designer, digital creator, here on Talk to Him Tuesday edition of the Chris Mathis podcast. Cory, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. And I know that you're not a big ego guy and, you want to get better yourself, but you've got a bright future ahead of you in terms of where you're going to go, the places that you'll venture off to one of these days, and obviously the end goal of where you'll end up. Do you have an ideal mind of where you want to end up in terms of what you want to do at the end of the day? What would you have liked to have said that you did in your career? And that's all up to you. I mean, you could be as specific as you want. For example, with me, I want to be a play-by-play guy for the NFL.
Right.
That's like the cap, like
Yeah,
that's,
me and
I
you
want
both.
to make it there. Like if I make it there, I'm very happy.
Yeah, like you said, I want to work with like big companies with Disney, Pixar, a lot of movie producers that, I mainly like to work with like nonfiction stuff, just creating a lot of cartoon characters and everything. But I think my I'm more leaning towards Disney and Pixar for my career, and just trying to get better with sculpting, as I said, because I know Disney and Pixar, they do a lot of sculpting with their characters and whatnot. So hopefully that'll be my career one day.
Yeah. So in order for you to take that leap per se and get an opportunity, what does an artist like you have to do in order to get a shot or have their artwork viewed, looked at, and given that check from a big company like that? Like, what do you have to do in order to set yourself up to get to where you want to end up?
I first got to get a certification for art designing, which I have not done that yet. I'm not really too big in college. That's why I stayed back and contemplated about going to college because it just takes too much time out of that day, but it just takes too much time for me to, go to school and whatnot. But, just getting certified to work with Disney and all these movies. It's just something I love to do, but I just don't really have the time to do it. And I just want to, create on my own time and just work from there. So
yeah, and obviously if the right person views some of your artwork, I mean that can go far. It's all about connections, networking, and obviously self-promotion, and you're doing that with your mini websites, your art prints and merchandise website, your art page website, your YouTube channel. And again, I'll tag all of these in a link down below in the description. So make sure to go check them out, subscribe, like, follow each and every one of his accounts, and also check out that art prints and merchandise page because he has actual art that you
art
can
prints,
purchase.
art prints
Also
and merch.
T-shirts and whatnot. Yeah, talk more about your merchandise and T-shirt art print shop that you have online.
So right now I'm just selling about 5 in total art prints and then 1 merch. So this website is basically on pretty much towards art prints. I'm gonna be posting more art prints and more merch for people to buy if you're interested. But yeah, this is a good opportunity for me to put my name out there and hopefully get some clients and customers.
Obviously you love what you do, but whenever
Yeah.
you love what you do and get a little bit of money and compensation for it, it makes it that much better. You can check out
Yeah.
the art prints and merchandise website, thekingcreations.shop. That's creations with a Z. Thekingcreations with a Z .shop, and go check out his merchandise and obviously his art prints too, which are phenomenal. But Cory, I want to talk a little bit more on a personal level. I know, and I don't know exactly of the timeline, but I want to say roughly about a year ago, you had gotten COVID, and I mean, obviously you were very fortunate to be alive after what had happened to you. I believe you lost, 60 pounds? And correct me if I'm wrong, but you lost nearly 60 or 70 pounds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so this was in last year in February, which was a few months back. I lost 60 pounds in 2 weeks from blood loss, and it was pretty crazy. There's a lot going on with my body. As people don't know my short story, I've been diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which is an inflamed bowel system infection. But yeah, I've lost 60 pounds in 2 weeks, and that was just from blood. It was crazy.
Yeah, and you've fortunately been able to gain, probably 30 or 40 of that back. Is that right?
Yeah, so I was 110. I was actually 195 when this all started, and I dropped to 110 in weight. Yeah, I was skin and bone, but yeah, my passion was always fitness and training, just to inspire and motivate people. But hopefully I can take this and inspire others that are that have this condition.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt. And obviously you talk about wanting to inspire, and you even came up with your own workout plan back in 2020. And you even have a fitness Instagram page. Obviously,
yes.
you're a digital creator here on this podcast, but I mean, you have your hand in everything. Talk about how they can find you on your fitness page, and also check out your workout program as well.
So my fitness page is Cory C with an _ fitness. And my website where you can find my workout plans is on gumroad.com/ccreations with a Z. And you can find most of my artworks for commission works. I can make you some artworks and whatnot, like headshots and just photo manipulations if you have like a piece that you want me to create. And I also have workout programs that I can make for you. So.
Yeah, I would highly recommend that. And I did that years ago. I reached out to you and was like, hey, man, can you create this profile image? And I think for the last 3 years, you've probably sent me 4 or 5 different avatars for social media. And I can't recall since that time frame that I haven't had one of your art pieces as my profile photo, because you do such a great job. They look professional, number one, high quality. The lighting's there. I mean, the whole 9 yards, and you put a lot of time into it. So if anybody is kind of looking for even a business logo, social media logo, a banner for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, anything that has to do with digital creation, they need to check out your Instagram page and simply message you on Instagram and mention what they need or what they're interested in.
Yeah, they can message me, DM me on Instagram, cc.creations with a Z. They can email me, which I have my email embedded into the website, which is on my Gumroad page and my The King's Creations art print shop as well. So you can either DM me, message me, or email me. Those will work.
And it's simple. I mean, it really takes 2 seconds for somebody to type it up and say, hey, could you do this for me? Here's what I'm thinking. Or, hey, what do you charge for this? And you'll shoot them straight. I know I've done a lot of work with you, and obviously you are the exclusive creator for TCM Pod. And it's insane. I'll just send you a photo of me like this. And I'll say, hey, include a football. And then, add this, blank out the background, and within an hour max, I get an image back, and we're good to go.
Yeah, I tried to do it fast, man. I'm a fast.
Man. You do a great job. But
thank you.
The amount of feedback that I get on your artwork covers for our podcast is unreal. People love it. And all they have to do is hit you up, cc.creations with a Z on Instagram. But Cory, I want to kind of go back a little bit regarding what had happened last year, as you said, in February. So that time had to be pretty tough, obviously physically, but even mentally too. So talk about, like the quality of life and if art was still a positive impact on your life, if you were still able to find time to create art during those dark times a little under a year ago.
Yeah. So as I said, it was February of last year when I got sick, and within the 11 months, which is 11 months now since I've been sick with diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, I really haven't had any time to recuperate my body for designing and whatnot. So I actually started back creating artwork about 8 months ago, and this is where I was kind of getting better with my body, and that kind of motivated me to do and learn a lot more into my art designing and just to get better with it. So yeah, it kind of taught me how to be more accurate with my work schedule and whatnot.
Yeah, so roughly you had 4 months where you didn't create art. You just couldn't help it. You had to focus on your own health and try to toughen through dark times.
It was hard for me to get to the right position where I was to where I'm at now. But yeah, it's been a journey for me.
Yeah, without question. And I think that obviously, number one, you've survived, you're getting better, you're putting on the weight. And then I think there is a silver lining here. And obviously you wouldn't want any of that to happen to anybody, much less yourself. But the silver lining to this is that after that 4-month break of you missing out on artwork and fun, what gave you joy on a day-to-day basis, when you were finally able to get back to work, what did that do for you mentally in terms of, hey, not only is this making me happy again, but also I'm going to become a better artist when it's all said and done, because this is the fun I have right now, is I'm able to sit up at my computer and create these awesome pieces of art and post them to my Instagram page.
Can you elaborate a little bit more? Like
yeah, so whenever you were really sick and you had to take 4 months off of creating artwork, when you first got back to it, what did that do for you mentally? Because you were still coming off of being really bad sick and trying to get better. So what did artwork do for you in those dark times?
It actually inspired me and motivated me to get back at it. It actually, when I stopped for a while, my mind kind of resetted and I forgot pretty much everything. So it actually helped me to become a better artist for myself and learn something that I haven't really learned in the past. But yeah, if you forget something, it's better to forget it, because when you come back to it, you can actually practice more of it. So that's kind of what brought me back when I was sick, is just repeating that process and just resetting my mind and coming back to the art and just trying to redo everything at the beginning.
Yeah, and you spent a lot of time at doctor's offices and then a lot of time at your studio as well. So you were able to put as much time into it as you physically could into your artwork. Would you say that time helped you truly become just a better artist overall? Because that was what you had to do, is to kill time and to have some fun. You went to your artwork and you really relied on that as the main source of happiness, per se.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, it was yeah, it helped me quite a bit with my art when I was sick. So it was a hard process just to get back into it. So
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously off to a better start in
yeah,
2022. Last
I'm praying
year,
for it.
yeah, last year you created over 150 pieces of art last year. Here's a quick review of it.
Yes.
Do you want more than that here in 2022, or do you just want to see continuously quality work be put out?
Um, this year I'm actually looking to do an everydays, which is an everyday artwork. There's a guy that does an art piece every day, which you guys probably know him. He was on Joe Rogan's show, and he's actually sold an NFT for $67 million just for one art piece. It's crazy. But yeah, it's a long journey.
Would
But
you post some NFTs at some point?
it's actually, a lot of people don't know this, but it's actually really hard to get into the NFT world, because you gotta wait for the process for them to invite you to get into the NFT website to start selling your arts and stuff. So a lot of people don't really know how hard it is to get into that kind of stuff. But I've tried it already, and I've never got an invite. So I'm gonna keep on trying and try to, get out there somehow.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Cory. Again, joined by Cory Crouch here on a Talk to Him Tuesday edition of the Chris Mathis podcast. Follow Cory on Instagram. I think that there's a way for you to get to all of his other links in his Instagram bio, his description. Instagram is at cc.creations with a z.com. Hopefully you guys are tuned in on Spotify and can view this video, or you're watching it on YouTube as well. But Cory, I want to say thank you very much for your time and joining me here on the podcast. And if there's anything else that you want to plug, please feel free to do so, man.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I also have a Twitch channel, King Crouchy, with King, no space, and then Crouchy, and on there I just do a lot of art processing. If you guys ever want to join in and see what I do over there, and we can talk about some stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to always check out your work, and again, see you continuously get better, not only with your artwork, but obviously your day-to-day life too, and coming off of losing, I guess, 80 pounds, which is unreal and truly an inspiration you are, man, in terms of not just your artwork, but in terms of your journey. And, it's just getting started. I think you're just now scratching the surface here. Yeah,
I was at 110, now I'm at 165. I want to be at 180. And I think that's a warm spot for me for my weight. But soon I'll be there, and I'm gonna keep on striving and try to work hard at it.
And Cory, I want to close out this podcast with this video that you had sent me. So, Cory, you're not going to see yourself here on the screen anymore, but you're going to see your artwork. Stick with it even after I close out the show right here. Stay on the line. Don't hang up, per se. All right, everybody. Here's a quick speed art clip of Cory's work that he sent to me regarding what he's done recently. Pretty cool art piece, and you can go see that on his Instagram at cc.creations with a Z.